Hey, what's up, everybody? I don't normally do videos like this, but I'm gonna try it out. A lot of the time I do like a time lapse, and it's only like 1 minute long or 2 minutes long or something, and I just narrate over it. But I feel like, well, I'm gonna talk about something recent that I watched. There was a real-time capture of Rinotuna's drawing. He's a Korean illustrator, and uh, first of all, one really interesting about him is that he does like a very balanced a very balanced rate of male and female illustrations. I feel like most illustrators will do one or the other, but Reno Tuna, I feel like he makes it a point to always do both. Um, and because of that, I want to draw like a nice looking male character, which is this character that I've iterated a few times. I was kind of having trouble with it this morning. This is maybe the fourth pose that I've tried. But I'll show you guys. This one here was the first one I tried, which is kind of like a walking pose, but the face wasn't right, body wasn't quite right. I tried a couple seated poses here with the crossed legs. I ended up looking up a pose on Pinterest to get this one right here. I thought this one was going to be good enough, but something was still, kind of troubling me about it. Um, I'm muscle anatomy is really hard, so I was kind of having trouble getting the pose to look proportional and arranging things. Yeah, this one actually took a long time, but I felt like, I could try again and it still make it better. Um, and also another thing I wanted to work with was like his this that actual clothing design. I felt like putting a guy in a suit is like really generic. It's something that I honestly don't like about men's fashion, is that, the top of men's fashion nowadays is just like a guy in a suit. Who's the king of England? Well, he's probably some old guy in a suit. So I thought, what can I change about this to make him look a little bit cool without losing the debonair, high class uh, guy. So I put him in just a shirt without the jacket and with suspenders here. And I thought I would try out like this flare style pant cut. I've never drawn a man in that before, and I thought, in the 70s it was in. So if I just draw it, maybe, it might look good. So I gave it a shot, and I feel like it does something more for his silhouette, and I feel like it kind of works for his personality. And so the original design was based on American Idol winner David Cook. I don't remember, it was like the third or fourth American Idol or something, and he won. And I just remember he had like a certain look about him that I felt like drawing. And that this was like many years ago, maybe 2008, 2009. I don't remember when I designed him. But my story has been cooking since then for a long time, and I felt like I should draw him again. And I feel like this iteration is quite good. The pose is good, the muscles are good, and I was feeling a sort of flow this morning already, and so I thought, okay, I'm gonna use this one and work with it. So the other thing I learned from Reno Tuna is that he seems to use only one brush for both the lines and um, the painting. I could be wrong, but I found one brush that I really like. I've talked about this on a previous video. Basic Flow, the Basic Flow brush in Krita, which is here B. If you want to use this brush, it's B close parentheses capital basic dash three space capital F for flow. So it's just a really basic flow brush with like some pressure control here. It doesn't really change in size, and if I erase a line, it's pretty nice. Um, I was using like a couple line art brushes before. I was using this one, which was like your G pen, has some texture to it. That's really nice, and I still use that for like animation and comics because it's faster. And then I was also using for animation my custom pen here, which was like a very basic circle, but with some pressure sensitivity. It starts at 50% width and then it goes to like 100% if you press harder. And for animation, I feel like I really want simple lines and I don't want to think about the line quality. Um, but for painting, I feel like using the basic flow brush has been really nice for me because you can change the thickness easily, and um, if you use it to make it thin, it like erases itself well. Like that's I guess that for me that's one of my prerequisites for an effective brush. Like, if you use the same brush to erase itself, will it look good? And for this, I say yes, it works very well. Um, so that's just my intro to this. I kind of don't want to be talking super much. I'm kind of used to stream banter, so doing this on YouTube is kind of new for me. Um, and I have to like be able to concentrate while talking. So we'll try to figure this out. I feel like his legs are kind of long, but they're also coming toward us because um, this is a cross leg pose. But I feel like this front leg is kind of long, so I'm gonna move it around a little bit. My transform tool has been kind of laggy lately, so I don't know why that is. You see how it erases itself pretty well? And I feel like this toe is like the foot is like maybe too pointy. I can like reduce the amount of tilt it's giving toward us, so maybe something like that. Feet are something I still need to improve. Whoops. I use mirror a lot now just to make sure like it looks good on both sides. I have a tendency when drawing heads that like the strokes I make with my right hand are asymmetrical. So it's a problem I'm trying to fix. It's been a problem since I was young. I used to make heads that would like be really lopsided, and I wouldn't know until I looked at the paper from behind it or something, or in a mirror. So I do use this tool a lot. Uh, I feel like let's just clean up the legs a little bit, and then we can start painting this guy. I do want to keep recording for maybe like 30 to 45 minutes. I'm actually inspired a little bit by very old YouTubers. So I found this old lady. I forgot her name already, but she's an old lady that just plays Skyrim, and she uploads really often, like several videos a week. And she does like videos where she receives gifts from viewers or just plays Skyrim for a while. And I feel like one of the reasons I got into streaming on Twitch was because I just wanted company while streaming. While no, not while streaming, while doing my work. Um, and it's very difficult to keep a consistent stream schedule. And if no one's on the stream, I just got comfortable with not talking. And I feel like if I know I'm making a video for YouTube, it'll make me comfortable just talking. And I don't want to pressure myself into talking the entire time. I have the epoch cam up here, right there. I haven't really used this before. It's above my tablet here. Well, I've used the epoch cam before on stream, but I've never really used it for recording long form drawing video like this, so you guys can see my hand. So I've been drawing since I'm like 3 years old, and it's funny because maybe I wouldn't call myself an expert. Like I would call myself like experienced and maybe have some skills. But every time I scroll on Twitter, I'm like, man, there are amazing artists out there. I don't use social media in like a way that's like detrimental. There's a lot of artists out there who will like scroll on Twitter and be discouraged by the skill that's out there. Me, I'm like, wow, there's a lot of great artists out there, and I can learn from um, just looking and observing their work, how they do lines, how they do color, and all that. So I see it as an inspiration tool, and not something that like has a toxic effect on me. So that's good. I've never really seen social media that way. In fact, I've always kind of wanted to troll people online ever since AOL Instant Messenger, early Facebook, early Instagram. I like don't really care for doing posts or things that like make me look better. Like I find that to be useless to me and my personality. Like I don't want people to like be like, "Yay, congratulations on your accomplishments." I would rather they just like be present with me and my weirdness and accept me for who I am. And I feel like those people become my closest friends. And I find myself quite reserved in daily life, not unable to let go, be weird. Um, but in a lot of times I can, and it's with the people that I feel closest to. Form here, the forearm is kind of hard. So some parts of the body I'm still not like too well versed in, like the forearm. Still not quite sure like if the arm is turned this way, and I have to like kind of jog my memory. Uh, like does that look right? I just do the stroke and I ask myself if it looks right, and then my memory will be like, oh yeah, that looks right. But it's hard for me. I don't really have like a well educated version of the forearm in my mind. It's like okay, but it could be a lot better, especially on the underside. I'll often draw this side, which is like the top side. So I guess that's pretty good, but when it's rotated like this, the underside is not really so great. Anyway, I feel like this I think this looks pretty decent. I feel like this foot could be a little bigger. Um and see how I'm using the thick version of the brush to just kind of mess around with the lines. That's what I like about this brush. I can kind of just mold the line, sculpt the line. The way I draw now is very much like taking advantage of the tools of a digital artist. I changed undo from Control Z to T because Control Z was like hurting my pinky. It like I felt like it was gonna give me arthritis or something if I just keep pressing Control Z. So I just changed it to one button and it's just way more intuitive. So if you're a digital artist, I know you might be telling yourself, I don't want to undo so much. Um, and I'm trying to make it a point to myself to instead of undoing, just use the eraser to mold the line, just like how I did there. But it's like I don't think too consciously about these buttons until I know that like I can improve. There's a lot of artists who like undo way too much. I feel like I've balanced it out. I probably still undo a lot, and of course I could probably work on my efficiency, but um, yeah. So the flare, I mean, I feel like it should be his shoe should be visible. So we'll kind of bring this up a little bit. I'm not well versed in like fashion of the 70s. I was looking at BG's photos earlier to see how they wore the flares. Okay, I feel like that's good enough. We're gonna throw in I do want to show some painting. So I'm gonna just do I think I want to start with grayscale, to be honest. I'm gonna change the line layer to a multiply layer. And I still haven't decided if I want this current line layer I have to be the final lines or if I can do one more pass. This has been two passes so far, which is like pretty decent. But I know that if I do a third pass, my lines usually look beautiful. And if I do a fourth pass, I feel like it's kind of excessive, and you usually don't need that level of refinement. But I've done it before, and it's like my lines just get, the quality is really crazy. But I feel like it's not like economically viable. So I am adding these to like my online store. By the way, guys, I have a new website. Just go to chokenator.com. Um, it's very bare bones right now, but what I want to do is like I want to do all my sales through there now. Like if people like I've always been operating on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and I still use those as like content feeds to share people what I'm making. But I want all of them to kind of lead to chokenator.com now because I've been using Linktree for a while, which is like fine, but I want something a little bit more useful, I think, because Linktree is just like people only click that if I link it to them, and it's just a portal to all my stuff. But the website is nice. If you look at it, it's just there's three things right now. There's a link to my Discord, which a community called Getting Good. Um, One of the reasons I called it that is because get good is usually used as an insult, but I think it's like also one of the best things a person can do is like get better at something. So it's like I want to reclaim that phrase as like something that's actually good. It's like something condescending. People say, "Hey, like, yeah, get good, man." But I'm like, okay, oh, I will. If I feel like if we humble ourselves, we can take that phrase and be like, yeah, I do want to get good. You know, I've always been resilient to like toxicity in the gaming communities. League of Legends never bothered me in particular, and I know a lot of people complain about the community in League of Legends. Like, I know it's a team game, so if one guy leaves the team, it causes your whole team to lose. But I tend not to be bothered by that stuff. I'm like, I'm usually focused on my own performance, and if I lose because of another teammate and I know it's not my fault, I still look at what I could have done better. Like, it's okay to lose if someone else is to blame, and you just want to maximize your agency. I think. Yeah. I feel like if I, I'm gonna practice this on YouTube. If I'm able to banter like this by myself for a long time, I can definitely do it on Twitch. Because I spend a lot of time on Twitch being silent or like listening to music or listening to some video or something. But talking, I mean, talking takes energy, but it's good. Maybe I need to use energy. Yeah, maybe I need to lose some weight. Okay, this looks nice. That's a pretty nice silhouette. I feel like the upper body is really nice. The lower body is like, that's okay. I'm just not used to the flares. Maybe I can expand the flares a little more. So one thing that's nice about this brush, I mean, if I'm doing just a grayscale silhouette right now, I can mess around with the silhouette here. Maybe I can bring this flare out a little bit more or something. Yeah, that's not bad. It's not bad. Yeah, that did a lot for the silhouette, just expanding that. So yeah, you can play with the silhouette here. And then let's just do some like really basic shading. I feel like this might be a bit dark, but maybe I want it to be dark. Maybe like how dark is the room he's sitting in? I gave, his shirt is his chest is exposed and he's like inviting you. So maybe the room is kind of dark. So I'm going to turn on the alpha lock here. Um and I'm going to it's on. Yeah, I have alpha lock set to Z. That's my shortcut. X is this thing. I used to have this on right click, but my new tablet, the right click or the buttons work slightly differently, so you can't like originally my old tablet on the Wacom tablet, you could like double click with one of the buttons, and it would give me a um the drag. But now I have space set to drag, and I had space for this toolbar before. I think that's what it was. Honestly, too big of a button. Why am I coloring his hair white? Okay, okay. So let's imagine. Okay, he's in a dark room and he's inviting you to something. His shirt's coming off. Um, he's like, "Come here," basically. So the room I would say is kind of dark. Maybe some backlighting and very mild top lighting. It's nice to have two light sources. So let's do like a very dim top lighting. And I like this brush because it can also work as an airbrush. Let's make sure the alpha lock is working. Yeah, it's working. If you press lightly on with it, it's basically an airbrush. So it's a line tool. It's an opaque brush. Like the pressure sensitivity on this brush is really nice. So this muscle right here, is it too small? I feel like the wrapping of the shirt around the bicep is wrong on this side. That's okay. Okay, we gotta add some focal point to his chest, right? We want people to look at his chest. It's funny for me because I made it a point to like study what makes an attractive like female character, and I've tried to my best to like give uh my female characters like a good body. And I feel like it's much more difficult for me to draw like an attractive male character because first of all, I don't find men attractive, so it's hard for me to notice what makes men attractive. So I have to learn contextually. Like, okay, I will look at men that they look muscular, so those muscles look functional. Like I have in my mind a visual library of like strong athletes. So okay, that looks right. And then like celebrities, like Marvel superheroes, like Captain America and Thor. It's like okay, I know what their bodies look like, what their muscles look like. So I just think like contextually, that's probably what an attractive male looks like, right? Um, so I don't know. Let me know in the comments if you find this guy appealing or inviting or whatever. I don't want to go overboard on the lighting. I still want to be logical with this. Oh yeah, that looks pretty nice. When I zoom out, um, a lot of digital painters have said that the eyedropper tool is really good, and I feel like if I'm doing grayscale like this, yeah, it's good. So I know for sure I'm working like between black and white, so it's not too difficult to know when something needs to be darker or lighter. Color is so hard for me. It doesn't come intuitively to me at all, and I need a lot more practice. And since I'm using the same brush for the lines and color, I can like add in some lines in the color layer if I wanted to, like just make the brush smaller and make it black. Something like this. Like right now, I could just go black right here, make my brush smaller, and just add some line art right within the color layer. You know, I will probably avoid that normally, but it's just a possibility with this brush. I have seen some like anime artists work in one layer before, which is really impressive. I feel like they only know how to do that because they've worked with limited tools in the past, like the old Oekaki boards, 4chan like drawing boards. That's fun. Paint Chat is really it's reaching another level. I forgot the name. I think it's magma.io. It's like the most advanced live paint chat I've ever seen. So it's nice to know that there was like a good like I don't know how many years, but there was a number of years where like the old I don't know if it was JavaScript or whatever, Flash or something, but the old code of this popular paint chat site was like being discontinued on Google Chrome. And it's like my friends and I could not find a good site to paint chat on. And then Aggie came, which is pretty decent. I just never used it that much. It's like people don't do that anymore. I guess it's kind of weird to draw on this on a shared space with someone. Now that looks nice. Now something about his head here looks not symmetrical, so I think he needs more skull right here, and that's what I like about this brush. I can just add to it, and then I can hit Z again for the alpha lock. And now that I have the silhouette, I can actually go into the line layer and play with it. Yeah, it's like I'm doing both at the same time. You know, I always with animation, you really have to follow the rules of like okay, lines first and then color. But when you're illustrating, you're only working with one image. You can kind of go back and forth, and I'm trying to make it so that my process is like saves time and is seamless, but still gives me some freedom. So, like for example, since I fixed a silhouette here on this leg, I can just erase this line art, and we still have the silhouette. It's fine. And this knee is not in the right spot, so his leg would be coming this way, and this knee would probably be more like right in the middle here. This line is off, so we can fix it. Another YouTuber I'm inspired by, besides that Skyrim lady, is there's this old Chinese lady. I don't remember the name of her channel, um, but she does these. She just banters like this. Why is it? Oh, because it's a multiply layer. That's why it's not giving me the eraser. That's I was eye dropping the grayscale, and it was multiplying onto the color layer. So there's this Chinese lady, and she does like painting videos, and her banter is really funny. And I'm just inspired by like the old people on YouTube. You know, it's like they don't care. They're not Mr. Beast. You know, they're not trying to get billion views every video. They're just doing their thing. And Mr. Beast, I listened to a podcast with him, and he's like, "Don't try to be me. You know, you find your way on YouTube, and find your thing, and then do it really well." And I feel like my thing is probably more akin to like the old people videos, where it's like just banter and long. This is looking pretty nice, you know. So I would probably have to dig up some reference to make the shoes the way I want to. So let's do that now. Should we do, I mean, a third pass for the lines? Nah, this looks good. This is good enough. This is really quite nice. So we're just gonna go in and refine though, because this second pass is good enough. The shoes are good enough. And this looks nice. I mean, he looks good here. So, by the way, yeah, you guys can see I have two cameras on me. There's the webcam over there, which is getting my face. This is my overlay on my Twitch stream. You can see the energy bar at the bottom left. That's on a spreadsheet. It's just a spreadsheet graph, which is kind of funny. It just goes with time. It doesn't measure my actual energy levels, but typically your energy goes down as the day goes on, and it's pretty late at night, so that's why the energy bar is showing that it's quite low. It was just a fun addition I made while I was trying to gamify myself. So we're gonna make this brush pretty thin now. I was originally working at 10 pixels. Let's bring it to like 7, maybe 6. Yeah, that's nice. So we're really gonna zoom in now, and let's refine. So this is gonna be the fun and sort of relaxing part. I don't want to lose the spirit of the sketch. You know, that's why you have to keep sketches loose so you capture the energy. Because usually when you try to bring more definition to it, it loses the energy. So I have to stay true to it. Now I put these extra lines here because this is not actually a line for the border of his eye. But ever since League of Legends Arcane came out, I've appreciated lower lid more. They really pronounced the lower lids in that show, and it really brought emotion to the characters, I think. So it gave me an appreciation for how they affect the expression. I don't want his eyelids to go too far. Let's bring a little bit of a shine here. I mean, there's not much light in this room, so a little bit of a shine, just a little bit of a wetness here to the eye. So guys, I'm an art teacher in the daytime, so I guess I'm like used to talking all day. I talk to kids all the time, and I don't want the kids to get bored, so I will banter with them too. Just ask them, how was your day, or what'd you do at school? Something like that. Have you seen this show or that movie? How'd you like it? A lot of kids like Sonic the Hedgehog. I'm surprised at how popular he is nowadays. I think Sonic is right now more popular than Mario among kids. And that's like big, you know? That's a big deal. Not even, I mean, not that Mario had much personality to begin with. Maybe that's why kids like Sonic, because they put him in movies and stuff now, and they give Sonic a lot of personality. I guess Sonic has kind of always had more personality than Mario, but now that he's had more games and more movies. Did that Mario movie come out already? I don't even know. I don't see trailers for it anymore. Did it come out? I haven't heard anyone talking about the Mario movie. I don't think it's come out yet. I'll give this guy stud earrings. Black. So David Cook had this hair. It was like the emo hair that went all the way down here. But I mean, does that look good? No, I kind of like the shorter one. Yeah, the shorter. It's kind of the same idea, but a little more stylish. Current as for current style. See, I like this long form video. I don't have to worry about editing, don't have to worry about saying things wrong. It's just banter. I'm really enjoying it. And like, who's gonna watch this on YouTube? Well, people watch the old people. So if I just do this for however many years, I mean, this is what I do anyway. I have to draw, and the banter makes me feel not lonely. You know, that was one of the reasons I started streaming on Twitch. I just needed company because it was lonely to just draw and do things by myself and come up with all these ideas by myself, and I want to share it with people. Now, if I was on Twitch right now, I bet I would have viewers, right? I bet I would have, like, this is in the evening, and I stream in the mornings, so there's not very many people watching me. Maybe some of my European friends or out of country friends, or people who are just not working. But typically, the viewership is way better in the evenings because Americans are not working in the evenings. They're having dinner, they're relaxing. A lot of my friends would be chilling on the computer, looking on Twitch or YouTube, finding something to watch. So that's like the ideal time to stream. But that's usually when I'm at work or simply tired. And um, so I don't, my stream has like died. It was really getting, it was really growing. I was catching a rhythm in like late 2018. I was really catching a rhythm. I was streaming every day. I was getting like 10 to 15 viewers. I had like 30 subs. That's like not bad, you know? $75 a month just having fun on stream. It wasn't bad. But you know, that, you know, on top of like the other work I was doing. Well, I was just doing commission work at that time. And see, I'm just not thinking at all now. It's just I know I'm making the right decisions. I'm feeling a good flow. I know I'm fairly confident in making the right decisions when it comes to painting this guy because I trust the sketch. I trust the sketch. So it's like now it's just refining the line work. And I've been working with this brush for like a couple weeks now. And I'm only going to get better. I feel like I'm going to stick to this brush when it comes to illustration. The only time I will ever change brush, I think, is for texture. Like if I have to like do crazy hatching to make like a feathery texture or like a fuzzy texture, I would rather just find a brush that does it better. So, but for now, as I'm practicing this and trying to get better at illustration, I'm just gonna work only with the basic flow brush. Look at that! Look at the chest. It's a nice chest. I don't have a chest like that. You know, my own drawing is inspiring me. You know, maybe you should work on your chest. I don't want this line to be too dark. That's one of the weaknesses of using a strong black line that imitates a G pen. Like if I wanted to do this with a G pen, I would have to like do hatching over here and over here and over here to and I would like have to edit the softness of the hatching, stuff like that. And you're just using black and white. But with the basic flow brush, I can really make sure the line is like a little bit gray and erase it out slightly to lighten it. You can't do that with the G pen brush. And that's why it's really important to me that a brush can erase itself. Also, mostly because the 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 button E in Krita, if you press it in Krita, I do both pronunciations because I don't know which one's correct. But if you press E in Krita, it toggles your brush to an eraser. It doesn't use your set eraser brush. The only way for you to use a set eraser brush is if you have one of the tablet pens with an eraser back, which Wacom. Okay, I really need to decide, is it Wacom or Wacom, and is it Krita or Krita? I really need to decide that for future banter. Even if it's wrong, I just decide on one. Okay, I'm gonna decide it now. I'm gonna say Krita. I like that. And I feel like, you know, an Asian person or like a Spanish speaker, if they saw that word, they would say Krita, not Krita. Only Americans say eh. Maybe British people. Krita. 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 No, I say Krita. And Wacom or Wacom? Wacom. 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 I don't know. I don't know. I don't know about that one yet. Okay, so the lines are a bit too fuzzy here around the nose. The face is a focal point, so let's like clean it up. Face is usually the focal point when you have a character. So let's see. Yeah, the brush we have is black, so. Okay, so let's make sure we have a thin, nice thin black line for the mouth here. I just don't want him to look. No, I don't know. This is a fashionable guy. Maybe his lips are like kind of have some darkness to it. Look at that expression, man. Something's wrong with one of the eyes. I don't know. I'm just gonna leave it. I feel like sometimes the imperfection is what make things appealing, and um, it's the asymmetries in a person's face that really make them unique. So I feel like the face is good enough doing its job. I just don't want too much lower lip. The expression, though, this part of the lip could be a little better. Make it look more like a smile here. There we go. I've never drawn a guy like this before. Okay, so we'll move down here. So let's move on to the sleeves. Just refine the lines. So what? This has been 37 minutes. If you're still here, that's awesome. I wonder how many people will stay this long. Maybe zero. Could be zero. You know, I'm not a famous YouTuber. Maybe on Twitch someone would still be here talking to me. But the point is, I'm practicing the banter. I do have more followers here on YouTube than on Twitch. And I know you guys follow me for art content. And I've done a few tutorials, and the majority of my subscribers are from the very few tutorials I've done on Twitch animation. Not Twitch animation, sorry, Krita animation. And I feel like working in Krita in real time, and I swear by Krita, like, I bought Clip Studio Paint. It was on sale, but I bought it, and I have a license for it. And maybe the tools in Clip are better, but for what I've needed to do in my life, I haven't found a real solid reason to make the switch yet. And there's like a time cost to switching programs because you have to first of all you have to fix the buttons and hotkeys to match what you're used to, which is not really a big deal. But also just like there are a lot of little things that can disrupt your flow, like the runtime, like the speed of the program can be different. The way like how often things autosave, like how long it takes to save. Like if you've established a flow with a program you're used to, um, it's the little tiny things that will break your flow. And when it comes to animation, Clip is way more robust than Krita, obviously. You know, you can actually move the camera. You can actually add audio in Clip. I mean, it's industry standard now, right? It's so cheap, but it's still industry standard. Um, I don't know if they don't use it for like compositing and stuff, but final renders and stuff like that. But to make Genga or like the basic pencil animations, Clip is great for basic editing, camera movements. It's awesome. But for Krita, I mean, I haven't really done like huge big animation projects that have required me to use Clip, and I have the license, so it wouldn't be really be a big deal. So I was looking at suspenders, pictures of suspenders earlier. They always wrap tightly. So this little curve there is not right. And this is gonna disappear because that was the shirt. Oh. Yeah, illustration is kind of fun. I'm not sure which I like more between illustration. I think I like animation better, more fun. When you feel the flow in animation, it's awesome. It's such a good feeling where you're like flipping through flames. You can feel the timing. You play it back, and it's perfectly as you planned. You don't have to move any frames because you timed everything perfectly. That's really satisfying. And maybe I just haven't gotten good enough at illustration yet, where I can like feel really really satisfied. But I feel like this guy right here, when I look at him, like first glance, top view, it's like, yeah, that's a cool looking guy. That's somewhat satisfying. I reached my goal after like 3 or 4 poses. And also, I mean, I was explaining to one of my students today that, or yesterday, that when you have a character design that you know really well, it's like you have a 3D model in your head. You know them like the back of your hand. I don't even know the back of my hand that well, to be honest, so I don't like that phrase. Um, but it's like having a 3D model in your head. I know exactly from every angle what my like my main characters that I've drawn a lot. I know exactly what they look like their body type, um, the hair color, the texture of the clothes that they wear. And this is a character I'm reviving from an idea a long time ago. And I only drew him like 3 or 4 times, and I feel like I finally came up with something solid. This is bothering me again. The angle of that leg. It's not good. So I'm just gonna erase the line there and work with the silhouette. Now, one thing I did notice from rinotuna, one of the reasons he's like kind of fast, is that he does just focus on straight lines a lot of the time. Like his hands are boxy, his his figures, he's more focused on contour than like the um he's more focused on contour than the form, which is something I noticed with Japanese artists. They really focus on contour. And I feel like a Korean artist, the trend that I'm seeing with Korean artists, first of all, they really like their body type, right? The Korean beauty standards, we know all that. They want to make sure that everything they make is beautiful. But because of that, I feel like there's not a whole lot of freedom in the way they express bodies. I mean, they take there's some freedom, but for the most part, it's like kind of keeping consistent with the body type that they like, and it's all roughly the same. I mean, I can tell when an artist is a Westerner too. You can tell if an artist is Japanese, Korean, a Westerner, or even Chinese. Like I know there's other countries that are really good at drawing. Canadians are good. Um, there's some Arabic animation communities that are good. French people, I feel like there's a French style, and the French is like there's a lot more variety in French animation illustration. But you can kind of tell when something is like French sometimes. Anyway, I'm gonna end this video soon, and I feel like I got something pretty good here. I feel like not a whole lot of progress was made, but it's probably a lot better than what the video started out with. I'm gonna isolate the line layer here. Yeah, this looks really good. This is like one of my best line works I've ever done on a character that I just figured out. So this is nice. Just enough like chest and abs showing there. Grease Revenaire is his name. Um, the name Grease sounds kind of nasty. It looks cool when you write it, but saying it doesn't look good. But Revenaire, that's a name I came up with a long time ago. Like debonair and like air and like revenue. I think that's a cool name. First name I'll work on it. Maybe Greco. But no, I think the GR. It sounds bad. So we'll play with his first name. But he's a rich playboy kind of guy, and yeah, we'll finish him soon. Yeah, guys, go to chucknader.com. Any of these drawings that I make, I'm gonna sell as prints. That's why I have them here on an 8.5 by 11 canvas. I'm gonna add backgrounds to them like I did with the old sorbet drawing. But yeah, thank you guys. Anyone who hung out for this whole thing and listened, I really appreciate you. Thank you. I'm gonna do more like this, and it's kind of fun. I might mess with the layout a little bit too. Okay, see you guys. Talk to you later. Bye bye.